Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football and welcome back to a Manchester United news roundup. We're going to round up all the latest takeover news and transfer news in less than 10 minutes for you guys. Starting off with a massive blow in the Sir Jim Ratcliffe deal. It's basically been said that Jim might not be able to get control of certain parts. Abraham Glazer's not going to give out parts of control. Joel Glazer's not going to give parts of control. But another big blow is saying that there's no guarantee anything is going to be done by January. There could be no January transfer window for Manchester United. We'll dive into that story. It's come out from Mike Keegan that Qatar are completely out. We've got a little bit of an injury update. We've got a little bit of a transfer update. We've got a little bit of everything. And I'm going to be honest, 90% of the stuff in this video is negative. Everything going on is just bad news, in all honesty. But let's dive right into it. But firstly, please do hit that like button and of course subscribe down below if you're new. It was said breaking Sir Jim Ratcliffe's deal to take 25% stake in Manchester United may not be completed in time for the opening of the January transfer window. Now, some people might get happy and go, oh, that could be good. Maybe there's time for the Qataris. Maybe there's time for the Qataris, this and that. But to be honest, I think it's over for the Qataris. I think it is going to be Sir Jim. And I think it's just being delayed because of the complicated nature of this deal. And the longer it's delayed, and if it goes delayed past January, there's no transfer window, it's going to be a big setback. And the longer it's delayed, the longer the Glazers are here. And, because Mike Keegan, who is very, very reliable, basically came out and said, look, Sheikh Yassim, there's no chance. Mike Keegan has been spot on about this takeover process the whole time. And he's come out today and said, look, despite rumours, despite speculation, it is over for Qatar. He said it's over for Qatar. But he's saying that Sir Jim's deal could take a while because it's going to be difficult. So, what's the hold up on Sir Jim's deal? What are the massive changes that Sir Jim wants to make? Why is there a potential hold up in Sir Jim Ratcliffe's deal? Well, that is exactly what we're going to talk about. There's a few, obviously, news and stories coming out about who's going to be in charge of Manchester United. Who's going to have control of decisions, what's going to happen. So we'll get into that story. So Sky Kavanagh obviously said that the Financial Times proposed that Jim Ratcliffe's Ineos deal for a stake in Manchester United would see Dave Brailsford and Joel Glazer sitting on the committee overseeing football matters, having a sway over footballing decisions through the committee was Ratcliffe's price for investing. So he's saying, look, Ratcliffe obviously wants, full control of sporting matters. That's not going to be the case. Joel Glazer is still going to have a chair to oversee football matters, but Jim Ratcliffe's given a say. And the thing is, the fact that Jim Ratcliffe's bought 25%, he's got to be given a say. But I think the fact that the Joel Glazer is still going to be there, sitting in on committee meetings, overseeing footballing matters, a man who said he didn't even know what the offside rule is. Joel Glazer is absolutely clueless when it comes to football. He doesn't even know what the offside rule is. Why is Joel Glazer having a say on footballing matters, on sporting matters, when he knows nothing about football? And other top clubs, those at the top, they just go, you know what, you get on with it. You're the director of football. You get on with it. Man United, Joel Glazer's got to prove everything. No, you know what? I don't think you should sign Kim Min-jae. We don't need a centre-back. Why would Joel Glazer know if we need a centre-back or not? And it's like, okay, Ratcliffe's going to come and he's going to have a say, and that's cool. And Ratcliffe's going to have some power, and maybe he'll be able to change the sporting structure and stuff. But to be honest, someone said to me, is Ratcliffe just going to be another Woodward? He's going to have a say, but ultimately Joel Glazer's still the main man at United, and Joel Glazer's not ready to give that up, and that's the worrying thing. Obviously, eventually Ratcliffe is believed to buy the Glazers out. But the Glazers could still have a say. So even if Ratcliffe does want to make these positive changes that could help United and the likes of Paul Mitchell, who knows how much control he's going to get. It was also said by the Times that part of the proposed agreement is that Sir Jim Ratcliffe and his team are to take charge of the football side of Man United immediately. Any changes to personnel will be seen by Sir Dave Brailsford. So despite this report, the Times themselves seem quite confident that Ratcliffe will be allowed to make changes. He's going to bring in this guy called Dave Brailsford, who's actually a cyclist. And I'm not going to lie, I don't know a lot about this guy. I don't know a lot about who he is or if he's good or if he's bad. I've seen a lot of negative things. I've seen a few positive things. So I saw one or two people saying, oh, he could be good for the club. I don't know enough about Dave Brailsford. And my overall feeling is, doesn't look amazing, doesn't look like someone that moves me. I have to do research into what he's done. He's a cyclist. I don't know what his connection to football is. But they're basically saying you know, despite Joel Glazer staying and having a say and stuff, it is seen that Ratcliffe will have most control of the footballing side of things, but he's not going to have complete control. Ratcliffe might want to do something, and you just don't know if Joel Avram Glazer will agree to it at the end of the day as well. The Times said the makeup of Man United's potential football committee means that the power will ultimately be with Ratcliffe and Brailsford, but sources said it was ludicrous to think the Glazers would surrender all control. So the Times said, though, despite this, at the end of the day, majority of the power will be with Ratcliffe when it comes to sort of transfers and sporting matters. But it is still a big blow for Ratcliffe. He wants to buy 25% of the club. He's going to get 25% of the club, but it's now been delayed, you know, and he's now not going to get complete control. And honestly, you know, with the Qatari sort of situation being over, it looks like all these delays are just because of the complicated nature of Jim's deal. It is just worrying as a Manchester United fan, to be honest. However, there's obviously a lot of conflicting information about Sir Jim, how much power he's going to have, how many changes he's going to make. One source, according to the Times, said that Sir Jim is aiming to make a mark quickly on the pitch to signal to Man United fans, despite the Glazers remaining as majority owners, his arrival would represent a break from the past. So one source is saying Sir Jim wants to make changes on the pitch to remind Manchester United fans that he's going to be different to the Glazers. But then another source is saying, oh, you know, Joel Glazer is still going to have a say. Joel Glazer is still going to have a decision to finally oversee things. And it's, for me, you know, I think Ratcliffe's deal, he's had a big setback because of how long it's going to be, and he might not be in charge for January, and he might not be allowed to take changes. We had a massive blow with Qatar because Mike Keegan's basically saying they're out. And then you've got a story coming out that Casemiro's injured, a story coming out that Sancho still won't apologise. And as a Man United fan at the moment, it's tiring, it's negative. I want some positivity in this football club. The one positive story that did come out is that Varane has resumed training, and so has Kobbie Mainoo. Evans and Reguilon also expected back. I mean, that's the one positive, that most people are fit. But it's just like, give me a break, United. You know, we're not getting Qatar. We're not getting a full sale. The Jim Ratcliffe deal's being delayed and getting setbacks, and some reports are saying he might not even be allowed to get the control he hopes to get. Now, I surely think he wouldn't buy 25% if he wasn't going to get any control. I do believe he will be given control to do this and do that. There's no way Jim would just buy 25% to not be able to make changes, even though Joe Avram will have a say. I do think Jim won't get control to change things. But one of the biggest blows of information that came out today is that Man United aren't planning any major signings in January. And United, and I tell you this now, will be all ready to tell everyone about FFP and how they have to sell to buy and all of that crap. And it's like, well, I know we don't, but it's the crap that United like to pull. And it said that United are not planning any major signings in January. Well, maybe they might sign minor ones, but that means minor is in a loan, maybe if we have a bad injury. For me, United should be going out there and signing Nico Williams to replace Sancho in January. His contract expires in the summer. He'll be dirt cheap in January. He can come in. He's a great right winger for a great price that Ten Hag wants. Ten Hag says if the right signings were available in January, we need to go for them. Well, there's a right signing available in January. Marcus Leonardo is available in January, very cheap. Ten Hag wants him. Could we go for that? Todibo could be there on the market, £40 million, nice centre-back. We need a centre-back. For me, United should be looking in the January market at Marcus Leonardo, Nico Williams and Todibo. But unfortunately, Manchester United have decided, the Glazers decided, well, we're not going to spend any of our own money in January. Maybe we'll spend Jim's money in the summer. That's what Man United decided. And for me, it's just absolutely embarrassing. So what are the other stories going about, people? What's going on in the Manchester United news world as well? Because this is the late night news roundup. Well, Samuel Lutkers has reminded us that Jadon Sancho was excluded from Man United's squad photo. Just don't care anymore. Sancho's been silly. He should apologise. I could get that he's not allowed to train with the first team and not in the squad photo. It does seem like a harsh punishment on Sancho. But at the end of the day, I think it's more the fact that, like, you won't do a simple apology. You'd rather not play football for 4 months and force to move in January than apologise to your manager. What is your attitude problem? You know, you're not in the photo now. It's boring. It's basically been confirmed Sancho will leave in January. And it was said by Ty Marshall, the Manchester Evening News, that Jadon Sancho's closest friends in the Man United dressing room actually told him to apologise to Ten Hag. Sancho's teammates have told him that he's in the wrong and that he should apologise to Ten Hag, but Sancho remains stubborn on this and still believes that he was used to make an example of and been scapegoated. But, you know, basically Rashford and everyone apparently has told Sancho to apologise. And then the last story that sort of came in today was breaking that Casemiro is going to be unavailable for the game against Sheffield United through injury. Casemiro is going to stay in Brazil to recover from injury. I saw a couple of people mad that Casemiro is staying in Brazil to recover from injury. I really don't care as long as he does recover. Because I know he's not been great lately, and it'll be nice to see Amrabat coming in some fresh legs. But I am a big Casemiro fan, so I do want him to get back because I'd like to see Amrabat and Casemiro in the same midfield together, and we know how good Casemiro is at his best. And then the last story is essentially just another João Neves story as well. And they said, look, we like the guy, but any deal for him won't be until next summer, which is obviously a given because, let's be honest, we're not going to do anything big in January unless, you know, maybe we sell someone or maybe someone owns. Maybe if Jim's in time, maybe there's something there. But I can't imagine much happening in January. Thank you, people. Please do hit that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. Share the video. We've got about another 6 stories coming out on Paul Mitchell being the new sporting director if Jim is successful. But is there any point me going into that? We all know that. Subscribe if you're new. See you next time, and bye.